Good afternoon. And
in the run-up to the summit, that you would be unafraid to call out Russia's disruption.
well, let me make it clear. I think he's right. It's a low point, and it depends on how he responds to acting consistent with international norms, which in many cases he has not.
Very much action in it. There's some calls for China to be respectful.
This is not a contest about who can do better in front of a press conference or try to embarrass each other. It's about making myself very clear what the conditions are to get a better relationship are with Russia. We're not looking for conflict. We are looking to resolve those actions which we think are inconsistent with international norms, number one. Number two, where we can work together, we may be able to do that in terms of some strategic doctrine that may be able to be worked together. We're ready to do it. And there may be other areas. There's even talk there may be the ability to work together on climate.
The communique cited a variety of fronts on China.
The bottom line is that I think the best way to deal with this is for he and I to meet, he and I to have our discussion. I know you don't doubt that I'll be very straightforward with him about our concerns, and I will make clear my view of how that meeting turned out, and he'll make clear how from his perspective, how it turned out.
Had not mentioned China in 3 years in one of these communiques. What did you argue?
There's no guarantee you can change a person's behavior or the behavior of his country. Autocrats have enormous power. They don't have to answer to a public, and the fact is that it may very well be, if I respond in kind, which I will, that it doesn't dissuade him. He wants to keep going. But I think that we're going to be moving in a direction where Russia has its own dilemmas, let us say, dealing with its economy, dealing with COVID, and dealing with not only the United States but Europe writ large and in the Middle East.
Overseas, and given that gap, is it actually realistic to end the pandemic?
There's a lot going on where we could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble.
About Vladimir Putin in your meeting this week, as you're well aware, the U.S.
Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms, but they have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there. And as long as they're there without the ability to bring about some order in the region, and you can't do that very well without providing for the basic economic needs of people. So I'm hopeful that we can find an accommodation where we can save the lives of people for example, in Libya.
Why do you think he hasn't changed his behavior in spite of everything the U.S. has done to this point?
He's Vladimir Putin. I'm not going to get into much more than that because I've got to sit down with him. 120 days. Give me a break. If there's crimes committed against Russia that in fact and the people committing those crimes being harbored in the United States, I'm committed to holding them accountable. And I heard that. I was told as I was flying here that he said that. I think that's potentially a good sign of progress.
China seems to be doing exactly